the experience where we're never predictable and also never on time, mainly because it's Jonathan's fault.
Tonight.
Always.
My fault. No,
Always.
no, don't you pin that on me. Don't you pin that on me.
I did. It's always your fault. But we're here, finally. Even though some people think that I am Jonathan. We're wearing the same color shirt, almost, both in green.
Yeah.
Jonathan just needs to be bald and have more of a beard, but then we would be more similar, I guess. I haven't talked to you in a while. We didn't do a stream last week. Anything new? Did you watch any new movies? Did
I watched
you do
quite
anything?
a few new things, but no, I had just sat down for dinner, like probably 2 minutes before, and I get that text message, and Megan had made a nice meal, and Ryan's like, "Are you coming?" I'm like, "Oh, give me 10 minutes."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Megan, I'm sorry.
Shame.
Let's do dinner. Jumped on here. Sorry.
Whatever. So what movies you watch?
I watched 1917 last night with a buddy from church. That's a fantastic movie.
Where your theater didn't work?
I had 20 minutes of ridiculousness.
Always happens.
I can't even figure it out. And lately, the newest thing that I haven't figured out yet, I got buzzing happening, like 60 hertz hum that came out of nowhere.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And it's obnoxious. It's not just like a little bit. It's obnoxious.
No.
So I got to track that down.
Oh, dear. You fought that a while ago, and now it's back.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd conquered it. I'm telling you, like every 2 years it comes back. It's like something gets a little bit of oxidation on a connection or something, and then you got to go trace it down, unconnect everything, and connect it back up.
Never to be forgotten. It's like, forgot about me. Still here, baby. Just comes around and lets it known that it's still there. So you watched 1917.
Yeah, we watched Arcane a little bit together. We talked about Gone Baby Gone last time, didn't we? I watched Puss in Boots with my kid. That's really fun in 4K HDR with the QL. That might be it. So I guess 3 in the last few days anyway.
I didn't watch crap.
Nothing?
I haven't watched anything. Not that I'm aware of. Why didn't I watch anything? Oh, well, one reason is the QSC on the Trinov side of things decided it didn't want to live anymore and died.
Yeah.
So I have no base management on the Trinov side.
Yeah.
I had a rep over on last Thursday, and I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, man, that sounds really thin. Like there's no bottom end. And then I switched over to Storm, and there it was. There was all the bottom end, and Trinov was outputting things. QSC
goes to QSC.
So
I remember you saying that you were going to you had to buy a new one to just get the system. Did you get any satisfaction from QSC as far as the weird warranty deal?
So I bought a new one.
Yeah.
And it too was also dead.
Oh no.
It was great. And my response from the eBay seller was, well, it worked when we shipped it. I'm like, thanks. Like not a lot happens between you shipping it and me receiving it. Doesn't go through this package hell that is UPS or FedEx or whoever you want to send it to and becomes a football and all this other thing. No,
yeah.
Things probably didn't work. So it would turn on, but it was like stuck in some type of corruption where something happened and it wouldn't boot fully. So it went back. My unit went off to QSC for RMA. I don't know if they're going to charge me or not. QSC evidently has this thing where they charge the date for your warranty starts when it is first purchased from QSC, not when it's sold to the end user. So it's a 3-year warranty, but it sat on a shelf for a year. So I only got 2 years of that.
Yeah, that's
and it was a couple months out of warranty. It was January. So maybe they'll be nice and give it to me. I don't know. It's a great product. I love it. It does a lot. I'm only scratching the surface for what it does. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Somebody saying, could I do a mini DSP Flex instead of the QSC? No.
There's too many channels.
Too many channels. Wouldn't work. And the QSC allows for a lot of customizability. It's pretty cool in what it can do. It's a pretty cool piece. Pretty resilient piece until it gets hit by lightning. Until it's pretty resilient until it's not. I mean, that's how this goes. Let's be real. Yeah, it was alive until it wasn't. That's how those things work. So I didn't watch anything that I'm aware of. Watch some anime. You guys don't care about that stuff. My big thing is, you may notice that what is behind me is totally different than what is normally behind me. So I am in a different part of the house. I moved my desk into what used to be a storage area where my flight sim pit used to be, and my computer used to be here a few years ago. And then my son said, "You know what? I'd really like a hangout space." And he wanted all this stuff, and we built it, and then he didn't use it. Shocker. You know, what 14 or 15-year-old knows exactly what they want? Says
Is this in the
everything they want.
basement that you built this hangout
Yeah.
space for him?
Yeah,
So
so
you
that
moved
black
your stuff
door,
out. Yeah.
that black door right there is back where the server racks and stuff are for the theater and the actual storage space. So I took my desk apart, took everything off of it, moved everything in here, plugged it in, and everything miraculously worked. Nothing. There wasn't fighting USB. There wasn't fighting HDMI. There wasn't a TV that didn't work. The camera, everything turned on. It was
Nice.
magic.
Nice.
And it'll probably fail during this stream now that I've said something. Watch this. And then it dies. So I moved, and we moved. So there used to be a couch right where I'm sitting. The couch is now out in the main part of the basement, and my basement actually flows a lot better now. It feels more like a basement, a hangout space. So the couch is out there. The bar table kind of segments that part area off, and there is the startings of a lot of speakers out there.
Oh, so like a little listening station?
A lot. And the speakers that are out there right now, there's some that are on the way. They've shipped. So right now, the Perlisten Black Editions are there. There's S5Ms, R5Ms, A3Ms. So they're sitting right now. Kef Blades are on the way. R3 Metas are on the way. Q Concertos and Q1s. And then Ascendo 6s, 10s, and 12 Pros.
So move away, little four-way switcher. You're gonna need a lot more than that for all those speakers.
What I decided was there's not enough space to keep them all on at the same time. So I think I'm gonna have kind of like a little display area where some of the speakers are just gonna be sitting. And then if people want to listen to them, I can unplug and plug, and there'll be a storm that I can switch profiles. The OSD switchers, I'm going to be able to utilize those. They've got a remote and all that, so I'll be able to rock that stuff. Honestly haven't figured out how I'm going to do it. I had a realization when I was sitting down here a couple days ago. I was like, man, I don't have as much room as I thought I was going to. These speakers are a little bigger than I remember.
What if you oriented it lengthwise? So where your window is out your basement, if you put that in the backdrop of your speakers are left to right.
So I only gain 6 inches if I do it that way. It's not worth it.
Because of the bar.
And then I have to contend. No, not because of the bar, because of there's a jut out over on the side where it kind of comes out. And then I have the hallway back there. It doesn't. And then I have to deal with the window. And it works better this way. So it is what it is. It'll work. I mean, if I did it with all the speakers active anyway, none of the speakers would be in the proper position, and I don't want that. So it allows me to move things, and the blades and the Black Editions will stay always hooked up, but I can move monitors and bookshelves, which are all the other speakers. The Black Editions are actually on wheels. That was nice.
Like little file cabinet
casters.
wheels?
Like
casters.
Yes. Well, they weigh 200 pounds a piece. They're CNC milled aluminum. The shipment when I got them for 2 speakers weighed 800 pounds.
Oh man, because they used real wood to package them, I suppose. Like were they plywood
were each
coffins
in their own individual crate, and there was foam that was around them inside the crate, and the crate was their box. That's how they were packaged. They were like, who needs cardboard? We're going straight to plywood. So that's been my thing over the last couple of days. Finally got everything cleaned up. What QSC? It's a QSC QSys 110F. So it's got a lot of speaker inputs on the back and outputs, and it does all the bass management for the Trinov, because the Trinov can't know that the infras are attached to it. because they're different and it doesn't work with waveforming. But didn't watch any movies.
Oh,
That's been my
the movie we were supposed to watch, I watched as well. War of the Worlds.
I failed. I didn't watch it.
I watched it in Dolby Atmos.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it because I remember that movie.
So that's been a go-to bass movie since, all of us were budding enthusiasts, right? And and we're watching it. I watched the Dolby Atmos version for the first time because I've always just watched the Blu-ray before, the DVD even.
I know what's going to happen here.
And I was like, something's wrong with my system. You're talking about thin. It didn't sound thin per se, but it just had none of the tactile feel, like none of the deep bass, that kind of pant like flapping bass. And I thought, is this one of those movies that they stripped out the ULF and texted our little group? And yeah, it is. Somebody threw some charts in there right away that were at their fingertips.
So sad. Wasn't it Sheldon?
Yeah. And it was like, it looked like it was like 70% of the bass was ripped out of there. It seemed like below 30 hertz and stuff. So that's disappointing. There were a couple scenes that were noteworthy increased or improved with the Atmos, like the ceiling speakers were active. And I don't know, I haven't watched it long enough to tell you if like some of the effects were different, but there were some things that stood out for sure that were improvements. But overall, you just lose that bass. It kind of just loses its like super tier status as a soundtrack. Yeah. It's still a fun movie. Like my daughter watched it for the first time with me and she liked it a lot.
I knew that was going to happen. And I think I actually have the 5.1 version, the non-Atmos version.
The old one, the old DTSMA.
Because I think it sounds better.
It's so much different. I mean, it's just worlds different. It feels it feels like all my transducers are off. If I was going to tell you the difference between the two versions, like the old one feels like you got all that tactile and the new one's just kind of audible.
I mean, maybe that's intentional. You never know. I mean, maybe the mastering.
I think it's intentional in the concept of them always trying to rip out the bass because it damages little retail cheap subs and makes bad noises and stuff. So
you guys think that's true?
I do. That's my theory.
I don't know about that.
They have to intentionally put that filter in there. It doesn't just automatically go in when they're mixing it.
But my point is do you think that the audio engineer was like, no, this is not how I imagined it, and it shouldn't have been this way. So then when they remastered it, they got the opportunity to take all of that bass out. You don't think that's
I don't think the original mixer would rip that out. I think it's some sort of corporate thing that says like, thou shalt put a HPF in there at 30,
thou shalt have no bass.
At 30 hertz, basically, to protect the majority of our customers so we don't have people calling us and saying we wrecked their system. That's my running theory.
So we don't blow up any more of their subs. Is that what you're saying?
I do think that. I mean, do you remember when Tron Legacy came out and there was an outcry of how many people were saying it blew up their subwoofers on that movie? On the forums, there was a lot of people. In fact, it blew up one of mine. There was a lot of people that it messed up their subwoofers. And if that complaint stuff gets back to those manufacturers, I don't know if they want to deal with that or not. That's where I think that comes from.
Maybe.
It messed up one of my Yamaha subwoofers. I had a Yamaha D650, I think it was. I had a pair of them, and one of them gave up the ghost on that movie.
Did you notice it during the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It went from that pounding Daft Punk bass to like farting sounds out of one of them. Like, oh, no.
Oh, no. I know what happened. Oh, no. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know. I would hope they don't do that intentionally. It sucks that they supposedly do, but So you watched War of the Worlds. I failed and didn't. What was your favorite scene? Mine is always when you first see the alien come out of the ground and Tom Cruise is running.
The pod emergence is really good with the laser strikes and everything. But I also like the plane crash mid-movie area. Do you remember that, where they're in the basement and the plane crashes outside the house?
Yeah.
And the thing cuts to black after some really intense sound. And the little girl says, "Are we dead?" And then it's kind of like a little jovial moment in an otherwise serious scene, and everyone laughs, and then it comes back on, and they go outside and look at the ship or the airplane that crashed. But what's neat about that is it's so loud. It's got to be right up there near the actual limits of like clipping because it's just so loud. And the ceiling speakers were used well in that scene. Another scene they were used well, surprisingly, with the Atmos track was the clothesline flapping when they're out watching the lightning strikes near the beginning of the movie. All the clothes flapping was coming out of the ceiling speakers specifically, which was kind of a cool effect because
Were the clothes
they're
above you?
underneath the clothesline looking
Oh,
up, and the
okay.
clothes kind of are flapping over their head and blocking the camera view. And it's almost like the camera's on a drone or a crane or something and looking down at the people looking up at the artifact in the sky, and the clothes is flapping over your head. So it's a cool little effect.
Hmm. Interesting. Was there anything aside from the bass that you didn't like about the remaster?
The video quality looked actually better. You know, sometimes when we get the 4K HDR, they'll
Mhm.
do something weird with the grain or the CGI looks worse, all that kind of stuff. It did not. They did a good job with the video transfer. It looked
Hmm.
better than the 1080p, which I think is always a little bit grainy.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't remember any I don't really remember a whole lot of that movie. When did it come out? 2005?
Was it 5 or something? I think so.
I enjoy it. Not a bad movie. But it's one of those that I'm upset that they stripped the audio from. That I don't know
Oh, yeah.
why they do that. That's sad. Abide says maybe the new studios actually have good subs and they don't have to turn it up as much to sound good in there.
I'm sure that's it.
You know, that is an interesting thought though. The mastering is only as good as what they can hear. And you're listening to how it was reproduced on somebody else's equipment. In a way, like it was mastered to be reproduced on that equipment so they could hear it. And you're in a way also listening, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're listening to what somebody else hears, and who knows what their hearing is like. Just
Man,
food
I
for thought.
really think with how fancy the equipment does that they do these up mixing things with, they're putting a hard filter in there, or if not a hard filter, you know, just a sloping filter at a frequency, and they can calculate that, and that's how we get the bass EQ stuff and all that. I mean, it's like it's it's clearly intentional. Now, for whatever reason, if some sort of corporate bean counter decided to do it to not blow up sound bars or you know make them make bad noises or whatever, that's my guess. If it's because the mixer himself doesn't has ported subs in his ported JBL cinema subs in his home theater that only hit
Mhm.
27 hertz or something, he doesn't want him to do it for his own, you know, like personal preference from the exact unique vendor or mixer. I don't know, but it's intentional. There's no way that's accidental, especially when they're taking something that already exists and is so well known to be like one of the AAA titles for bass of like all time, like at the top of the list, and then you strip it out and make it gross. That's intentional. Can't be anything but. Do you have a mixer friend in any of your contacts? You should ask them and see if we can get a real answer on how that happens.
I can try. I can try and ask. Should bring Velma down. She's like, I want to be on TV.
She's barking nonstop, and I'm not even sure what she's barking about. Sorry, you can
Mhm.
hear her. I'll have the girls put her outside if it keeps going on.
My statement that I said about the mastering for other equipment and stuff wasn't necessarily about the bass. It was just kind of a universal thought of you're listening to how it was mastered on other equipment. And correct me if I'm wrong again. Um, but could it also have been mastered to be utilized with different equipment back, 21 years ago? And we were just seeing a benefit from it later. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just talking out my butt. What
I'm
should
gonna
the next
see.
movie be?
I don't know, but I'm gonna see if I can. Will this show up on the camera or not? I don't know. So this is what Sheldon sent us the other night. Maybe it won't show up, but
I got
that
it.
is that
I
is
got it.
base content. You got it available to show
Yeah.
versus the new one. It's just so much weaker,
Is that
and
in
we're
our group thread?
talking. It's in our group thread.
How far back is it? Good lord, there it is. I found
Not
it.
that far.
Um,
I mean, the original one had content way below 5 hertz even, and the new one. I might have to do something about that dog. Sorry.
I'm getting it. Maybe I'm not getting it. I saved it to photos and it doesn't show up. You turd. Are you gonna let me play
Let
this?
me go do something with that dog because she's not stopping.
Okay. Nope, not letting me do that either. Come on. How should I do this? Open. I think that'll work. Let's look at that window. Hey, look at that. Okay. So this is one of them. And then let me get the other one. Quick look. And we'll do open. There we go. Here's the other one. So if we do this, there's the other one. So one, other. Well, how do I switch? This one? How do I grab the other one?
Can you switch left arrow, right arrow?
I swear I know how to do this. It didn't create another stream. Stop. If I do duplicate, and I do... Can you still hear me?
Yes.
And I do this.
Yeah, without a side-by-side, it's harder to tell. But there you go. You're flipping back and forth. Look how much more, like, the redder the color, the more intense the sound. And you can see at the bottom, it goes from 5 hertz on the left to 40 hertz on the right. So that's your frequency range.
Mm-hmm.
And the new one's all hot between 30 and 40, and the old one's hot down to 5 hertz and below. Like, look, flip back to the old one. Look at all the ULF that new one's missing. It's crap.
It's like a projector that's oversaturated.
Yes.
But this is the intensity of the bass. The energy that is at given time and frequency. So there you go. This is new. This is old.
Yeah, Jeff Fry says the same thing happened on Master and Commander. I know that one firsthand as well. Experienced that difference between the Blu-ray and the DVD.
That's a nice staircase, Jonathan.
Let's just bring him
Jonathan doesn't even realize he's not talking to the camera. He's like talking to a wall.
This AI thing followed me and then gave up. There it goes. It followed me upstairs to take care of the dog.
Jeffrey Fry says there's lots of similar complaints with the bass in Master and Commander. I remixed the Blu-ray mix along with the original DVD to compare eventually. I know Kevin was talking about remixing some stuff to get the
video. He did it. I didn't get a chance to test it yet. He remixed for the War of the Worlds, the 4K HDR the video with the Blu-ray audio.
Did I see right that one of you was suggesting or asking if you could take the bass out and use the audio, the Atmos, and mix them together?
Yeah, somebody suggested that in our group chat. I don't know how that would necessarily be done.
No.
Well, it could be in the context of you'd have to do it with some sort of capture device. So your LFE channel outputs LFE only, right? And it would on both tracks. If you could get some sort of input device that would separate all the channel outputs from like the pre-outs and then rob the subwoofer off the audio from the DVD and plug that in instead of the LFE on the Blu-ray or the HDR thing, then that could work. But it'd be tricky, right? You'd have to have capture cards, audio cards of some sort that would capture each channel individually.
I'm too lazy. Not happening.
Somebody could do that. I'm surprised there isn't. There may be. We could probably Google it and find someone that's done it.
You could absolutely do it. I'm just saying it's not going to be me on that one. I've played enough with capture cards. I don't need to do that again. And mixers.
I don't have the equipment to do that kind of thing. You want it to be.
Not happening. All right. Next movie. What do we want to do? Is there anything new? Anything interesting? I need something happy. I'm still trying to recover from Nuremberg.
Here.
I was going to say Hoppers, but it's not on sale yet. Did we say we were going to go back and watch Alien Romulus?
No, but I like that one. I think I like that more than mainstream does. Mainstream kind of poo-pawed that one, but I liked it.
Oh, I watched Chronicle. Did I tell you guys about that?
Well, we watched Chronicle over at John's house in the last few weeks. Tell us what your experience was like. How'd you like it?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It
You're a
was
little out of focus. See if you can move
yeah,
around a little bit.
you stupid.
There you
camera.
go.
It was definitely a low budget movie, but I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
The kids that were acting did a great job. It reminded me a lot of Super 8. I liked it. It was a
Mhm.
good B movie, like
Mhm.
rating B. I enjoyed it. Story was
Mhm.
fine. Good. Wouldn't rewatch it. Maybe a C.
You wouldn't? I would. I liked it
Yeah.
enough. I probably watched it 3 times in my life.
That was my first time watching it. I wouldn't rewatch it. I mean, I guess if somebody else wanted to watch it, maybe, but not on my own. I feel like I watched something else. Oh, we watched F1. And I still don't really like that movie.
Yeah.
The acting's not very good. I think Brad Pitt does an excellent job. Everybody else fails him. And the part that I hate the most is how they do the announcers and how they're always coming out of sound like they're coming out of PA speakers. It just doesn't fit with the movie. I'm not in the stands. I'm watching the movie. Every time an announcer talks and I'm in the car, I don't want to hear him coming out of PA speakers. It's stupid. Just have him talk like an announcer. So
Yeah.
I really don't like that. But the sound effects are cool. The Atmos and audio is great. Video's fine. Brad Pitt does an excellent job. I hate that they cheat. The girl, the engineer, she does a great job too. Maybe it's just the young F1 driver that I really don't like.
The announcer didn't do very well in the context of it was always talking about that one car, and they were, like, in last place the whole race, so it really made no sense that every time the announcer was talking, they're talking about Brad Pitt's team when they're like, that's not who they talk about in the race. They don't talk about last place the whole time.
Yeah, it was stupid.
I that one is a C plus for me, maybe.
Mine's like C minus.
And it's probably only on production value that I'd give it a C plus because
Yeah.
it's not really that great of a movie.
It's
but
only
it has
on production
some
value.
fun scenes.
It's only on production value that I'm giving it a C minus. I watched it because of one of my friends that was in town wanted to watch it, and he hadn't seen it, so we watched it, and it was fun. It was fine. Just I'd much rather watch Ford versus Ferrari.
Mhm.
No question. I watched, was it Olympus Has Fallen? Watched that. It was fine. Worse than I remember.
I got things dying on me live. My little camera just went out. There it goes. How weird.
Something else to talk about. JTR new speakers.
RTJ? The line that Newbie got?
That's what I said. It was just, I said it backwards. The 212s, the 24-inch sub, the 410 active, the 12-inch coaxial, so like the 12, I guess 112, or I can never remember what he's calling it. What do you think of that 212?
I haven't heard it, but Jeff voices a lot of his speakers similar, so I kind of would expect that I know sort of what it sounds like. It'll be real clear, real dynamic.
Has anybody in chat heard it? We'll find out. Micro proxy. I do watch F1. The point that he was making was they didn't talk about anyone else.
Yeah,
it was just any time they talked, it was about that specific car.
And I don't watch F1, so that's true. I don't.
I do. They do talk about it a lot, but they also talk a lot. It could have been done better. Anyway.
Well, the thing about that one is it was pumped up to me. I kept hearing people say this is the new Top Gun Maverick.
I did too. Well, we went and saw it together.
And it wasn't. It wasn't anywhere near as Top Gun Maverick.
No, not at all. There's not one scene in F1 that even holds a candle to the worst demo scene in Top Gun Maverick. Just saying. The 212, I think they missed the mark. Should be 210 or better, 28. Oh. No.
Why? Tell us why, MW.
Why you see that, MW? I'm interested to hear them. I know some guys in chat are interested in hearing them too. I've had some people talk to me about them. We'll see how they do. I think it's interesting that Scott chose to do those as side surrounds, and then his rears are the only one, and tops are the only ones that are not the 212s. I know it's a space constraint, but
Right.
that was an interesting choice. Not saying it's bad or wrong. Frankly, that waveguide probably makes them do very well directed energy on as side surrounds. So can't say it's a bad decision. So that's interesting. Jeffrey Fry says, I watched Nuremberg a few nights ago and had similar thoughts to you. Jonathan thought Crow was great. Yes. Yeah. That movie, I ended up, I left watching that movie feeling worse.
Yeah.
Which was how it was meant. Why crossover from a 12 to a 3.5 inch coaxial? I can tell you why. Jonathan, do you have an opinion?
Well, has he put out any plots on it? I mean, it's going to be that he's just getting more output with the 12 is what he's going to be going on, and that 3.5 coax, all that stuff's going to scream. It's going to be like 130 dB capable across the board, and then have more mid bass with the 12s is what it's going to amount to. So
well, the reason he's doing that is the 12's giving output, but the 3.5 inch, he's able to drive that lower and is able to cross them over lower. So, I mean, look at the Black Swan. The Black Swan's got a 15, not 12s. So there's reasons. I think it just works better for his purposes and what he's trying to accomplish.
It sounds like Zach might have been at the newbie gathering. They sounded awesome, he says.
Okay. That's good to know. That's the first person feedback I've heard. So that's good.
I watched that Youthman video today where they were interviewing. He was interviewing some of the guests, and everybody was ecstatic about it. It was a really good response. People were saying it sounded a lot better than they expected. They expected it just to be like car based, basically, but it was. They said it was, when it was not at its highest level, it was really balanced and everything.
Yeah, and I would hope so, given there's 24 24s in there. I mean, it stands to reason. Yeah. And
kind of funny, in the Youthman video, it was showing that the projector screen, like immaterial the vendor is a good vendor, so I'm not even going to bring the vendor's name up. But the projector screen was like rattling screws out of the frame because there's so much, 150 dB plus bass is unforgiving. It's going to be doing that to anything. I asked in the comments like how that projector hung up because I still don't understand. I mean, if you watch that video, watch the TV as you go into that room. He's got like one of those vertical, say a 48-inch TV or something vertical that has movie posters on it, like people do sometimes. That TV is like, the guts are coming out. It's flashing white, like it's the panel's just flexing so bad that it looks like, when you press on an MA monitor, a VMA monitor, or whatever, how it makes it white. The panel's doing that on its own because of how much SPL there is.
Okay, it's not doing it on its own. It's getting the bejesus kicked out of it by
the acoustic energy. It's not even in the same room, right? And it's just flexing it so bad the TV's just washing out completely. I know that the panel's small on an LCD projector, so it wouldn't have as much room to flex. But I'm really surprised that LCD panel doesn't mess up the alignment, doesn't like blow it up in a sense, like really mess it up where the mechanisms fail and stuff. So I'll be curious to see how long that beautiful QL3 or QL7000 lasts in 150 dB bass. Because they don't engineer it for that kind of acoustic levels. They just don't. There's like a half a dozen people in the world that have that capability. So there's no reason to engineer it for that. So
I mean, for all we know, they did. They're going to send us some like checklist of some video of Epson in some sound lab and it's getting kicked. What's up? You home? Okay. What?
I can't eat.
I don't know. Go eat some Doritos and applesauce.
And after you're done, can we play pool?
Yes.
Oh, it's raising a pool shark, are you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. She likes playing pool. So anyway, that'd be funny if Epson pulls it out of their back. Yeah, we actually did.
Yeah.
This was tested for this reason to meet some XY certification, and it passes. I'm just imagining them sending us a white paper on it right now. Jason, Rob, if you're
man.
listening, that'd be hilarious.
That would be funny.
That would be funny. Okay. Anything? Did we pick a new movie? We didn't pick a new movie. We've been rambling. How about District 9?
I haven't watched that in a long time. I have watched it. I thought it was okay before. You liked that one?
It was
I don't
just,
mind watching it again. It's probably been 10 years since I've seen it.
I mean, we don't have to. It was just one of those where the CGI, I feel like, was really well done, and I want to see if it holds up.
All right, that's fine. I'll do that one.
Let's do District 9.
Was that in the comments or just off the top of your
No,
head?
I just was looking
Just
at my movies, and I'm looking at it right now. So that's where it came from. No, nobody suggested anything. All right, questions. If you guys got a question, drop it in chat. We answer them in the order they come in, first in, first out. Donations are absolutely not required. They're always appreciated. But do not ever feel like you need to donate anything. Jonathan and I do not understand why people do that, but they are appreciated nonetheless. I have seen District 9. It's just been a long time. Jonathan, do you want me to star? Because I feel like sometimes you can't read or can't read good and you get lost.
I just go slow.
Okay. Well, you can
I'll
read the start. I'm tracking for new ones.
Have either of you watched, let me click the show button. St. Louis Sports Audio Fan says, have either of you watched the movie Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die? I've not.
I have not. What
Tim
is
says
that?
it's excellent. He really enjoyed it watching it in the theater. I don't think that's out yet on.
Is it
like-
not? Oh, it's in theater still? That would
I don't know if
explain
it's in theaters, but it hasn't been that long that it was in theaters, so it's
That's
probably not
right.
on stream yet.
Good luck, have fun, don't die. Let's see. Yeah, it just released February 13th. Probably not out yet. I'm going to put it on a list, though, or see if it's out.
Macroproxy says, have you guys ever heard Theory Audio SB25 speakers? Think they could handle left, center, right, as well as everything else? I've not heard Theory Audio.
Theory makes good stuff. What's the model again?
SB25. I'm looking up. I don't think I've ever heard anything from Theory, actually.
I don't like their pictures. So, Macroproxy, I'd want to know why you're thinking about doing these speakers. What's driving you to potentially do Theory? What's the idea? You do have to use their amps. DSP is a big thing for that speaker line. Keep going. Next question.
Well, I'm trying to look up the speaker. Is it at the surface mount? I mean, there it is. Okay, SB25AW maybe. Oh no, here it is. SB25 volt. Okay, their picture is just like showing the middle.
400 watts continuous, 800 watts peak, 117 dB at 1 watt, 123 dB peak. Does it give a response? 54 to 23 kilohertz, 6 dB down. And then they provide measurements.
If the specs are real, then they would meet reference levels, and that's kind of my bar to entry.
Mm-hmm.
So they would do that according to the specs.
Yeah. I don't think it's not a bad speaker. I just want to know why you're thinking about going that direction.
What is up with their pictures? They're like zoomed in so far that you can't even see what the speaker looks like.
I don't know.
Macro,
website. Send me a message and let's talk Theory versus Pro Audio. I mean, it's the same company, but let's talk and see if we can maybe put something together.
2525 KPS says, with an upgrade budget of $5K, which would you go for? Aura shakers to Krausens, 2 times HSU VTF3 to 2X JTR RS1, or Mad VR NV Core LS12000 to some other projector. I don't think for $5,000 he's going to get much of an upgrade from the LS12000 combined with a MadVR Envy, unless he just wants. I mean, really, just for $5,000, you're just not going to. That's kind of that answer. Oro shakers to Krausens. I'm not a fan of Oro shakers, so I think you can make some ground there. HSU VTF3 are nice subs. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. JTRS1 are probably, they're going to be a little bit better, but not like worlds better. You're talking about, isn't that a 15 ported?
The VTF3?
I think so. 15 ported versus 18 sealed.
Let me look.
Traditionally, I mean, JTR is like kind of a top tier product, and HSU would be like a good tier product, like maybe one small step down. But generally speaking, like a 15 ported is gonna be pretty similar to 18 sealed, so not a huge difference there. The JTR would be better, but not a huge difference there. So really, out of that, if you're really sticking to those three things, I'm gonna tell you to go to different shakers or even try near field.
For $5,000?
That's way too much money for that. But he could try near field or something if he wanted.
I would add 2 more subs.
Yeah.
More subs. More.
Krausens cost $500 a piece, right? So if he got a couple of them, that's $1,000, and he still got $4,000.
Well, then you got to do the amp.
You get amps for nothing.
Well, okay. Regardless of that, the other parts that we don't know is we don't know what his speakers are. We don't know what his room's like. So I'd like to know that. Could be, you know, maybe you got the wrong screen because whatever its gain is, its ambient light rejection, whatever do you have acoustic treatments in your room? What are your speakers? Are you running into issues with compression? What's your AVR amp looking like with what your SPL ask is of all that stuff? I mean, many more things to upgrade outside of just those, but given what you're saying, I'd add more subs.
Yeah, and also look around your local area. There's an area meets thread on AVS forum, and there's usually like big active groups in some of the cities. Not every city, but some of the cities have active groups. Just post in there and say, hey, I'd like to schedule a movie night at my house, and you host some people, and then they'll get to know you, and then they'll invite you to the next one, hopefully. So that would be a good way for you to experience more stuff and see what you're actually interested in yourself. Wally46 says, I have 2 Clips RP 1600 SW subwoofers in the front and 2 Clips SPL 150 SW subwoofers in the back. Would upgrading to 4 Clips RP 1600 SW subwoofers get more bass? Sure. Clips SPL 150, isn't that kind of a lightweight duty subwoofer?
It's just a woofer. It's not a subwoofer.
It's $299, $229, different places.
I've had one.
Has it for $229 right now.
I had one a long time ago, or something like it. Those subs could actually be doing you more harm than good.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, wait a minute. There is an expensive version of that. That's the SPL-150. Is that what we're talking about? Yes, maybe. That one on Clips' site says it's $1,400. So let's make sure we're talking about the same thing here. There's like a $200 variant that's kind of got that same model name, and there's like a $1,400 variant. So that's apples and oranges. I'm putting an exact model name as he said. Or is Clips just inflating their MSRP that high that makes it look ridiculous?
I don't know of any SPL 150 that was that expensive. Was there a 15-inch a long time ago?
Is he responding in the comments? I'm still pinned. Here, I'll put it in private chat. Look at this thing. It says $1,400. Why? That can't be the same one that like B&H has for, or Nebraska Furniture Mart has for $229, can it? What in the world?
I don't know. Maybe.
So the one that's on the clip site for SPL 150 SW is a 15-inch ported box, huge, and the SP. Oh, that's saying 120 SW. That's a sealed box with a 12-inch. Google had it labeled wrong, so that might be part of it. Hey, get back with us and let us make sure we're talking about the same one you're talking about. The smaller clip subs are notoriously not very good. The bigger clip sub, the new ones that have come out in the last couple of years, are actually good. So if you're talking about some sort of little guy that's like a 12-inch sub for the last decade or something, like Ryan said, that actually might be detrimental to your system.
Wally says they're 15s. They used to be 600 a piece. They may just be inflated. I mean, I would go to 4 1600 SWs. That would be a rocking system. Yeah. You're going to remove potential phase issues. The RP 1600s are solid subs, especially for the money. They're enormous, but that's what I would do, especially at the correct price point. Go beefy. I think you already knew our answer, though.
I wish I knew if that was, because like, isn't the RP? Let me look it up. Isn't the 1600 only like $1,600?
So not even. Like you can get them for cheaper than that.
It's 2,000 on clip site. So we're talking about a $600 difference as it is MSRP from the company. If we're talking apples and apples,
but you can get them on. You can get them considerably cheaper than that.
Yeah, they go on sale for like $1,000 sometimes at some of those slick deal sites that they link to. Yeah, Wally, I'm going to stand by it. I've been around a lot of the little smaller clip subs. And I'm not a big fan, but the RP 1600 is a real deal.
And so is the 1400, and the 1200 is not bad either. They did a really good job.
Jad Crew 875 says, "What are your thoughts on the upcoming Genie, Titan, Nor Max?" Well, we don't have much thoughts because we don't have one yet. Although, Ryan, do you have a little news?
Supposedly, I'm getting one.
What time frame do you know?
No idea. It could be next year. I don't know. They said they'd get back to me when they started shipping.
I'm cautiously optimistic on this one. I'm on the pre-order group. I'm gonna try to tinker with it myself. I don't think there's very much risk at the pre-order price. We talked about this a little bit on the last stream as well. I got in at the early bird pricing, so it was like $2,800 plus the mount. At that pricing, from what I'm seeing, continually reviews pouring out, you're getting a good value no matter how you slice it.
Absolutely.
And if I don't like it, I can probably just sell it for the same.
If it sucks, I'll just pass it on to the next schmuck.
Well, I mean, the value is there. Is it going to compete with my NZ500? Probably not, but in certain ways it might beat it. Is it going to compete with the QL3000? Same sort of thing. Probably not, but in certain ways it might beat it. It's supposed to be like, I watched a review today from a guy named Thrillcat that I thought was interesting. He compared it directly to an NZ700. I don't know Thrillcat. I don't know his integrity. I don't know anything about him, so I'm not saying good or bad. But he had a lot of videos showing with a red 6K camera, so it was like good footage. And you can get a good idea kind of what those things are doing there. And I think he's bringing it over to one of the more reputable video calibrators also to see what they can get out of it. But it held up really well. It's a very bright. It's probably twice as bright as like the JVC is. And the blacks are what he quoted good enough. And that's what I keep reading. Like, it's not going to leave you wanting. It's going to have real good color saturation because it's got triple lasers. You don't have to worry about speckle. I mean, you know all these things if you researched it at all. But triple laser sometimes has speckles, so you need usually a negative gain or a very expensive screen to combat that. Very quiet. It's got 1 millisecond of lag. Maybe not the most precise zoom and focus controls, but you can get to the point where you want, and it's automated for the most part. They said it's usually pretty good enough, close enough to just click the auto button and let it do its thing. I think it's pretty interesting, and I'm excited for the competition because they're putting a lot of hardware into that product at that price point. Is remarkable. And all the other vendors just keep going up and up and up and up in price. And this is some competition to the lower price point.
Yep. I'm excited about the competition. I hope it spurs innovation. We've been stagnant for a while, and it'd be nice to get some new products and or new tech.
Yeah. And what's different about this one compared to past DLPs is that it has a dynamic iris that's functional right now. And it'll help both the brighter and the darker content in a single setting. Like you can put it in the dynamic iris mode, and it will help its functionality to have like dark scene representation as well as very bright scene representation. It also has a equivalent, like Valerian Max and Valerian Pro had a EBL. This has DBLE, which is the same sort of function. It's like a dynamic iris dimming that's supposed to be really good. And by most accounts that I've been reading, the Valerian Max has kind of more artifacts than this Titan Nor Max. And so if you're like, maybe the iris responds a little bit slower, or the DBLE responds a little slower than EBL, but it's less artifact prone or less noticeable in artifacts. And because it has dynamic iris, it could be both darker, and because it has more lumens, it could be brighter. So I think most people are starting to say that they think this would beat the Valerian Max, and it's about the same price. So there you go. A year later or whatnot.
Okay. I know nothing about it, so I can't weigh in.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is I don't have any real hands-on experience yet by any stretch, but I'm interested enough that I'm buying one to tinker. So that's my answer. Okay, Potato Bake says, I'm in a basement. I have 2 sealed Dayton UM18s. Would it be a good idea to put some long 2x4s under my seating and one of the subs? Good for tactile base. Absolutely. I mean, any kind of like lifted, raised wooden floor will give you a lot more tactile feel if that's what you're after. You couldn't just do like 2x4s flat. You'd need some sort of surface in order to kind of like capture that acoustic energy. Like put a piece of plywood over the 2x4s and set your chair on the plywood. That kind of thing would give you a little more feel than just putting on feet that are 2x4s. There's a tactile base thread on ABS Forum that's thousands of posts long. A lot of good information in there. I'd steer you that direction to kind of get some ideas. A lot of options you can do in that realm. But
thread is an understatement with how active that
oh yeah,
area is. Might as
but
well
ultimately, if you just build like a square frame box and put a piece of plywood on top of it, and you put your chair on that plywood on that framed box, you're going to get more tactile than like on a concrete floor. So if you're seeking that, it's a way to add tactile. So Jeff asked, and we kind of already addressed this, so we don't have to spend a lot of time here, but what are your thoughts on Newbie's crazy build? Specifically about the crazy part, because we already talked about like the performance and thought like it got good reviews. I hear a lot of people talking about, is it overkill or does anyone need this? There's even like some talking head videos that have come up and said like, nobody needs this type thing that I've seen on YouTube. Well, I think if he enjoys it and it's something that's like very clearly hobby space and just personal enjoyment, like why not?
What? Okay, I have a question then. Why are they not making talking head videos about the Mad VR Experience Center? I have a 64-inch subwoofer 3 feet from my head. I mean, what? It's
I don't know, right? Because he's everywhere. So like, I don't know the Mad VR Experience Center is everywhere. If you go on Facebook page and you scroll down, somehow I don't know why, but he's just everywhere. Like that. Yeah. His channel's everywhere. His pictures are everywhere.
He does have more than I do, but we talk about this all the time, that the proper number of subs is infinite, right? The more you have, the better the overall experience is going to be, obviously, if you keep it at moderate levels and not ripping your face off. But all the power to him. I got no problem with it. Scott screams extreme. I mean, that's his personality. So to put something down like that, I don't see the reason to. He's got great equipment in there.
And he's had some of the vendors that have made that equipment come in, including Epson and JTR and Seymour, Chris Seymour. Like a lot of the guys that own these products, that manufacture these products, came in and calibrated a system for him. Well, probably the way they would prefer it, and then made it like a crazy way for him as well. But it's been set up right too. So yeah,
it's cool.
If he's taking care of his other responsibilities in life, his family and his his friends' family, and
have fun,
do what you need to do from there. I was gonna say church, but I don't think he's a religious man, so that's not on his prerogative. Are there any screens? Microproxy says, are there any screens for UST setup? there is ALR and AT. Euroscreen Excellent website had Visionary USAT material, but can't find any information on a picture of it. He's toying with the idea on a QL7000. Well, I'm kind of confused on this one, Macro. You might have to help me out. I mean, you have a QL7000 right now. How would you do a UST screen? That's ultra short throw. Like,
I mean,
are you
there's
thinking
that
about switching a little periscope lens on that? Is that what you're talking about?
I
Sorry.
would assume that's what he means.
Do you know? I don't know this. You know how you lose or gain lumen output on like those QL series projectors based on the lens? Do you know if the little periscope lens, do you lose or gain output in any serious context?
Not off the top of my head. I'd have to go look.
No, either.
And I don't know if there's proper documentation on that. I can ask Epson. I don't know. I mean, you're gaining it from distance because you're right there, but I don't know if it becomes a moot point because if you're losing anything else because of the mirrors. I don't know. Don't have a good answer. He says yes.
I don't have a good answer either.
Do you need an ultra short throw screen for that? Man, we just need to have conversations.
Auto light rejection and acoustic transparent. So
yeah, but for a UST short setup, so maybe you don't need it. But if you're talking ALR and AT, I mean, Stewart makes perf screens that do that. Not woven.
I don't think we know this answer, man. Ryan, you could get with him if you want.
Yeah. Macro, you need to reach out because I need to talk to some vendors about that one and figure out what makes the most sense. I do know the guys the European Screen Excellent guys. I know the owner, and we actually do a booth with them at ISE, so I can get in contact with them. But I got to learn more about your setup to know what the proper way to be and if the UST would even be what I would do. Not that you shouldn't do it because I disagree, but yeah, we need.
And then this is always the kind of topic that's great on AVS forum too, because you'll just get a little bit of input. You might even make a thread on it. Just see what people recommend.
Viewing angle issues.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just reading his last comment. Yeah, we need to talk. I gotta find out. Epson may know of some screens that'll work. I can get with Rob and Jason and see what they may suggest. Shoot me an email. Let's go through some stuff.
But Jack 60 Flats 99. We finally watched Tron Ares. So disappointing.
I wasn't that bad.
I still haven't watched that one.
Really?
I've watched clips from it, but I haven't watched the whole thing.
Let's be real. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers. Tron Legacy is not a good movie. It's not. The acting's bad. It's a fun movie. It is not a good movie. It is visually stunning. The music is fantastic. It's not a good movie. It's right there with Pacific Rim and Godzilla.
No,
they're not good movies.
No. Pacific Rim's 2 steps down from Tron Legacy.
No, it is not. They are bad movies, acting-wise. Okay, Tron may have a little bit better acting than Pacific Rim, but you get my point. It's not a blockbuster movie. It wasn't when it came out. I view Ares the same way. Felt very Tron to me. It was fun, as Jeffrey puts it. I would agree. It's a good demo movie.
Zach says, I watched that same review video. What do you think about hooking it up to a video processor? Would it bring it closer to a JVC? I don't think so. Not from what I've watched, Zach, but I mean, again, I'm answering this based on what I've heard from other people, so take this with a grain of salt, of course. What I've heard is that the tone mapping on that Zemi Titan or Max is actually really impressive. And so you're kind of dealing with like the hardware limitations compared to the JVC in regards to very specifically the black floor. It's not going to match a JVC on the black floor, and video processors can't fix that. What they can do, a video processor, is bring out the dark shadow elements into like the levels that the projector can manage. But from what I've read, the Titan Aura Max is already doing that with its on-chip dynamic HDR processing, tone mapping. And so like there's been multiple people on the AVS forum thread that's like 660 pages long or something last I looked at it already. People are testing it all over the place with all kinds of stuff. And that thread updates like 15 pages a day. It's wild. I can't even keep up with it. I haven't kept up with it. But what I do see in there is that people are comparing it with different video processors and saying like it's already doing pretty well on its own for that particular model. You might edge out some like little artifact things that might still be kind of growing pains or may not ever get as good as a dedicated processor, but it's not going to be a magic pill for that one, I don't think.
No. Good question, though.
Chris says, I'm purchasing 2 pairs of Polk R900 Atmos speakers. I need some advice on placement. Or R700, R400 center, R100 surrounds. Should I go? I'm on the ceiling or on? What should I go on the ceiling
or on the walls?
Oh.
Should I go on the ceilings or on the walls? 2 pairs of Polk R900 Atmos speakers and need some advice on placement. I think the OR is supposed to be 4 R700 and R400 center, R100 surrounds. I'm assuming that's what he meant.
So R700 Polk are giant towers. And then R400 center, R400. None of these look like they're on walls. R400 is like a MTM center. And then the last one is a R100.
Is that a bookshelf?
That's a little small bookshelf.
What's the R900?
So I'm not sure where he's coming with these in walls. R900, clicking it. Those are like little slanted speakers that are meant for ceilings or for toppers on the towers, basically. Like
I think he's asking, should they go on the ceiling or on the walls for the top channels? Ceiling.
These have a pretty steep spike. They're a 4-inch driver. My vote is not to buy those.
Yeah, but what is the R100? How big is the R100's driver?
Well, that's why I'm saying don't. I don't know about the R100, but the R900 has a 4.5-inch driver. It has an 85 dB sensitivity and it handles 100 watts, which means it cannot do reference.
But maybe his goal isn't to do reference.
Everybody I know that buys speakers like that is like immediately looking to upgrade when they hear it making better.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Skip that, man. Don't do the R900 at least. Let's see what else you're looking at. What was the R100? I don't think that's a place you'll even be satisfied with very long. If you're on this podcast watching us, it's because you like this stuff. And that's
so you're saying what he should do is forego the purchase.
Yes.
Maybe get some, instead of buying all of that equipment, spend all of your money together on towers or just the mains and subs. And then do the other stuff later.
At the risk of offending someone that's watching this that has that kind of stuff or that really likes that kind of stuff, that's not an enthusiast set of gear. So skip that. Save a little bit of money, buy a smaller set of speakers, and just increase with a higher quality set of gear year after year.
Yeah. Focus. Buy focused. Quality over quantity. Focus if you don't have any setup right now on the mains and or subs. And then add to that. Because as Jonathan said, what typically happens in this space is people will get something to get into it and then very quickly upgrade and then upgrade. And it becomes just this stair step. And what that ends up being is I'm spending a lot more money because you're replacing the entire system. And if you're watching a podcast like this, and or surrounding yourself with other people that are in this space, that's going to happen way quicker than you think it's going to.
Yeah. I mean, if you were on like some Quora forum or something and just saying, hey, what speakers should I buy with this? And you're like talking to a bunch of casual people and they would say like, those are totally fine. A lot of people love those. You could get people that would give those 5 stars all day long.
Okay. They're not bad speakers.
in this enthusiast space, at the type of stuff we're talking about, the gear we enjoy, that's not. If you're talking about buying it, don't buy it. If you already have it, enjoy it while you have it, but don't buy it.
Yeah. It doesn't mean they're bad speakers. It just means they're not designed for what people that are enthusiasts are going to potentially be after.
Yeah, sorry for the hard news if you already bought them or if you had that direction, but we're just giving our honest opinion, man. That's all we can do. So Charlie says, Jonathan, I have 9 CBT70J1 for bed layer. Hey, it sounds familiar, but ceiling heights is only 7 foot, so I can't use them for Atmos. Everyone suggests synthesis for Atmos, but out of my price range. Anything you suggest for Atmos speakers?
We'll come back to Chris Contreras. Height is only 7 feet. Oh boy. Oh boy. What would I do?
I think I would go. I don't like mixing them if you don't have to, but it sounds like you kind of have to. I would go for an 8-inch coax, probably at minimum. So it doesn't have to be synthesis. It can be JBL. It can be something else if you want. You're not going to make a match anyway. Exactly. 8-inch minimum, because like we just talked about with Chris, I want you to be able to have reference capability. I don't want you to have like something that's a limit. And 8 inches coax is kind of where that starts. 8-inch, 10-inch coax, get 2 or 4 of them and put them in ceiling. I think that's my recommendation. You can even get, if you want to put them on ceiling instead of in ceiling, you can even get the slanted style. I mean, there's lots of do-it-yourself options too, as far as those kind of things go.
What's above your ceiling?
Yeah,
Charlie?
Drop ceiling. Is it drywall? What kind of ceiling do you have?
And I'm hoping it's only one row.
I'm going to the do-it-yourself sound group and see what they have out there that might be something for you to check out.
Trying to think of speaker options that would work for that. What's the price range? Synthesis is a broad line. Are we just saying that anything synthesis is out of the price range? Or specific models? Chris Contreras, while you do that, Jonathan, says, should I get 2 pairs of R100s? I wouldn't get either. I would focus on your mains and subs and then add more later. And or do something other than Polk. It's my suggestion. Get the DIY SG HT8, best bang for the buck, Atmos, in my opinion. Those aren't bad. I've never been hugely impressed with those speakers. Doesn't mean they're bad, just not my thing. Jonathan's reading intently. Or acting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to find if there's any kind of. There's a lot of threads on 8-inch coax, man. That's your search term. In my opinion, that's your search term for a short ceiling. Type in 8-inch coax speaker, and then just start looking at like do-it-yourself options. If you're willing to do that, you can build your own box. You can make it custom sized to what you want it to be, port tuned to what you want it to be. There's a lot of threads on AVS Forum to help you out with that. There will be some prepackaged stuff you can get in ceiling speakers that are 8-inch coax. You can consider 10 or 12-inch coax if you want, but like I said, don't do 6, don't do 4. Your CBTs are very much capable of reference volume, and you don't want your ceiling speakers to be the limiting link there.
I got to sneeze here in a second.
Okay, you said Chris came back?
I already answered his question. I said don't buy more R100s.
The R100 was at the center, or was that the bookshelf?
No, that was the little bookshelf.
I'm looking that one up again. I think the sensitivity on all those things is real low. So what we're telling you, Chris, what we're telling you here, Chris, and this is something we've repeated for years and years. This isn't new. Like since the very beginning, where Ryan and I were talking about this stuff. That's got a 5 1/4 inch driver, a single one, and it's got a 1-inch tweeter and its sensitivity is 86 dB, and it's 150 watts sensitive, or 150 watts max. It's just not going to do reference. So if you care about reference, if you want to be able to turn it up to movie theater, like premium commercial movie theater volumes, it won't do it. And it clearly won't do it. It's not going to be on the edge. It just won't do it. Flat out bad, won't do it. Now, if you don't have any intent for that, and it's going in like a bedroom setup or a living room setup where you're just not going to try to do that, by all means, if you like the sound of Polk or you like the look or you just like that family of speakers, go for it. But I'm just saying, for a main system in an enthusiast circle like what you're jogging around here, that's not the right speaker for the job.
And here's why he's saying that. What we see time and time again, and I actually had some people in that have watched this stream last week. What we see time and time again is people think they don't like it loud until they get speakers that are not distorting or compressing.
Mhm.
And then they get themselves in a position where they don't think it's as loud and the volume just keeps going up and up and up and up and up because we like loud, shockingly. Why do concerts play loud? Your ears typically don't hurt while you're at concerts. They hurt later. They're not distorting. So Jonathan and I are just worried if that's the direction you're going, don't get those speakers. They're not bad per se. They're just not designed for what you're going to more than likely ask of them if you're watching this podcast. That's the worry. And we try and allow people to not reinvent the wheel. So we want people to learn from our mistakes, and we have been down those pathways. Again, it's not that Polk makes bad speakers. They're just designed for a different purpose. There are plenty of people that love Polks. There are some really good Polk speakers out there. They're just not going to do what we've come to recognize that we like and what we preach effectively. And we don't want you to find yourself wasting money. Been there, done that.
So how that will reveal itself, and just to kind of cement this a little bit, like this week I had that guy over, we watched 1917 together in the theater, and this experiences repeat so many times. And
all the
you
time.
had the same thing. We're in here, we're watching the movie, and there's some sort of dynamic element. It was an explosion in this case. On 1917, when the rat trips the wire and it blows up, my buddy had never seen the movie. He practically jumped out of the chair and like, oh, I thought I was going to have a heart attack, that kind of thing. That dynamic comes from that capability in the headroom that we're talking about, and that Polk set would never do it. It's going to make a bad sound instead of like a dynamic explosion. When that kind of thing happens, it makes your guest jump out of your seat. It's just going to make a farting sound or like a blown driver sound when it tries.
So I hear that a lot, but I also hear time and time again from people that have heard movies repeatedly, like A Star is Born. They're like, man, I've never noticed the crowd noise like that. I've never noticed overhead effects like that. Do you turn up your overheads? I'm like, no, it's because they're not compressing. They're not running out of gas. There's a lot of content at a much higher signal than people think, but people want to put these rink-a-dink little speakers up there. And I get why, because if you're going to save money, if you're going to compromise, and I will continue to say this, if you're going to compromise and you still want tops, that's typically where it's going to happen. And it makes sense. My argument would be, don't put the tops in at that point, spend that money somewhere else or save it to get something bigger and better later, because it's just going to compress. It's just going to distort, and it's going to lessen the experience for you. Happens all the time. Let's not beat that one ground, though.
Okay. Majek says, running left, center, right, and 2 surrounds with 4 subs and a 16:9 room. Do I add rears or Atmos? 16:19 is a pretty big room.
At rears.
He's got 2 surrounds and left, center, right. So he's got a 5 channel system right now with 4 subs.
Rears.
I generally agree with that. I think Atmos is kind of like the 15% on top of the rest when you get a good full functioning 7.1.
You can get a really, really, really good experience out of just base layer speakers. I mean, look at what Christopher Nolan does with all of his movies. He doesn't use Atmos. Or typically. I think there's been some upmixing with stuff. But man, watching Fury, for the longest time. I finally got an updated version of it that doesn't have Atmos. It was amazing. Watching Batman, like The Dark Knight, no Atmos, amazing. So implement what you got really well, and I think rears over the tops.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, would I even say that I would go wides over tops? I don't know if I'd go wides over a single pair of tops, but I'd go wides over 4 tops. So wides before 4. I might even do wides over tops. I'd have to play with it. But there are so many movies, like Ryan said, that are mixed so well in 7.1. It's way more vast material as far as like a legacy or historic database of 7 material versus Atmos material. And there are many times where 7 material can sound like it's coming from above you anyway. And case in point being, like in the early days of Atmos, when people were like clamoring about how good Atmos was, and you turned off the ceiling channels, like people were doing tests, turn off the ceiling channels, they were barely on a lot of times. Like there was very little source content even going to the ceiling channels, but the way they were being mixed was allowing it to sound like it was up there. I've even had that experience myself where it's fooled me, and I've thought like, man, this is really good Atmos track. The ceiling effects are really good. And then I played with that same thing. Like some of those videos, people were saying there's very little content up there. Turn off my amp for my ceilings, and it's like, this still sounds really good. I'm not even sure I can tell much difference. There are clearly times where that ceiling channels are putting specific dedicated content up there that's only there, and you can tell it's there. But a lot of times it gets mixed in and it sounds great even without ceiling channels. Charlie says, I would like to have 4 Atmos speakers with around a 2K budget. That's totally possible if you're willing to do it yourself. Look up as an example. Now, this isn't necessarily the box form factor you're looking at, but look up Do It Yourself Sound Group Coax 8, and they have a Volt 8 speaker that I'm thinking of. It's $200, and I've seen plots on that one. It'll do reference volumes, and it's $200. Now it's build your own box. They give you the front plate. You got to build the rest of the box. You got to cosmetically cover it or paint it however you want. But I'm just saying, like, your price point doesn't exclude you from having reference capable good speakers. And I don't think you have to do it yourself even to get there. Let's just do JBL. And it doesn't have to be JBL. I'm just doing that as like a mainstream example. Coax 8-inch. Let's see what they cost for like an in ceiling or in wall. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're like $300 or $400 for any numerous. They have a lot of models because they're a huge company. A lot of them are $300 or $400 for a 8-inch coax in ceiling JBL, and that's going to get you to reference volume too. And it doesn't again doesn't have to be JBL. Could be a lot of different companies. I feel like some of these questions are kind of tying in together, and this is one of them. Anything else to add there, Ryan?
Nope. You got it. I think that's probably the best way to go with that budget. And the other in bringing them together with the other speakers she already has. That's what I would do.
Macroproxy says 2K per speaker budget in wall or on wall. Say less than 9 inches deep or so max. One model to do all 13 channels. 9.4. Reference cable required. What speaker? Jonathan, CBTs. You got a lot of options at 2K per speaker, in my opinion.
A lot of options. I would do on wall. I wouldn't do in wall. You lose the ability to aim. Jonathan will say the CBTs.
Yeah, I am. But I was gonna say even you could get the Big Brother at $2,000 a speaker, but you can't anymore. The prices have gone up. The Big Brother CBT 1000 is $3,100 now.
I would say Ascendo the 10 is what I would do. Do them everywhere. So, and they're far from 9 inches deep.
I keep messing that one up. Mark Wilson says, curious questions. If Perlisten R series is the top of the range per se and Polk R series is the lowest tier, what is a happy medium for a living room near reference setup?
Okay, well, let's figure out the budget. So per listen R series is, let's just do the R7T. So the R7T is man, this website is terrible where I am. R7T. Well, that can't be right. Hold on. What do you think? I'm just trying to figure this out. Do you have any opinions?
So he puts living room and near reference setup in the same thing. I mean, a living room setup to me is a little bit more grace on picking speakers you want that aren't reference setup, just in my mind, because that's not that traditionally in my thinking, that's not where you would go to watch your home theater stuff. But if that is your home theater room, well, Polk R series, we were looking at probably like $300 a speaker or something ish, right?
So R series from per listen, the towers are 5,500. The step down tower is 4,400. The monitors are 3,300, and the bookshelves are 2,700.
And you want something that looks nice in your living room.
So we go in the middle, reference capable. A big part of reference capable is going to be determined by seating distance and what becomes possible in that. How far away are you going to sit from the speakers, Mark? If you're close enough, I would do Kef. But if you're far, Kef's not going to work.
I was looking to see what Monoprice had anymore. I mean, I think I'm gonna go back. I mean, I was just kind of seeing what was out there mainstream. HSU makes a nice coax 8. I can't believe I didn't think of that earlier when we were talking about all the coax 8. That might not be a bad choice for like a nice intermediate system that's going to do reference. It's sold out right now, but it's $400 a speaker. And they look nice. They're just kind of, they're not gloss black, but they're kind of a nice satin black box. Nothing fancy, nothing that stands out, nothing that's going to grab your attention, but it's going to be nice, high performance, truly reference capable. Mm-hmm. And they have full packages. Like you can get 5 speakers or whatever with subwoofers if you want, like a full system, a 5.1 system or whatnot through a package price.
I personally, and this is subjective, I've never been a huge fan of the HSU sound for speakers. I like the subs. Just never did it for me. Biggest thing, Mark, have you heard these speakers? If not, I would encourage you to, whichever direction you go. You're dropping this kind of money, so even if it's somewhere between per listen R series and Polk, still not inconsequential or insubstantial. I would encourage you to listen to them before you make a decision. If you want to talk more about that offline, don't hesitate to shoot me an email. Maybe we can help you out a little on price. New DIY sound group site is Synergy Audio. Did you get that?
The old site's still up. I mean, I was just there. Synergy Audio. Is he saying it's like a competitor, or is it the guys had started a new company and named it that? I don't know.
Unknown. I do not know.
Let's see if they have kits and cabinets here. Home theater kits. Yeah, they have some options there too to check out. Looks similar. Front face plates you can buy and build your own box beyond that with the crossovers and components and stuff all in there. They'll assemble crossovers at these kind of places for you. If you don't want to do that yourself or don't feel like you have the skills to do it yourself, they can put them together for you for a reasonable price.
Says they changed the name.
Interesting. The old site's still there for what it's worth. I hadn't heard that news yet. Thanks, Zach. I mean, I don't know, like, what's going to be so wrong with those things. I'll have to watch Aaron's review. I see Bing Dong said that Aaron did a review and didn't like them. I mean, it's just a coax speaker. Can't be that much wrong with it, can there?
I don't know. I haven't seen that review. I'll have to go watch it.
Hmm.
I've just never historically liked the way they sound. I mean, per listen's always been great. If you're looking for a box speaker that's in a living room, it kind of rules out something like a Sendo. Kef's good as long as they're in close to you. Their more expensive stuff can do THX reference, but given your price points, I don't think that's really an option. What else?
I don't
Ascend
know.
Audio, maybe?
And we say it every time, and we're going to say it again. You can have two people in the same room listen to the same speakers side by side, and they'll have different opinion on which one they want. They can even sit in the same chair and have a different opinion. I've been in those kind of situations so many times. So what I tell you or what Ryan tells you you're going to like is not necessarily what you're going to like. Go put your ears on different stuff. Go to different showrooms if you can. Go find people on ABS Forum, other hobbyists. Go listen to their gear, see what you like, and then come to your own conclusion.
Yep. I'll have all this stuff in Kansas City if you want to come out. I can get the Polks if you want to put them up against them, but all the Berlissons and Kefs will be here.
Cody says, what is your opinion on studio monitors for home theater? I have 4 Atom Audio A77H and want to use them in a room that is 20 by 20 by 12 with an SVS Pro 2000 sealed box.
I think they could be good.
Atom Audio A77H. A77H. Atom Audio. The thing with the studio monitors is typically that they won't necessarily do reference at distance, but that's not always true. So let me look these up and see what we got.
The key is to use them within their capabilities, and they're designed typically to be near field.
Mm-hmm. 3-way, 3.5-inch MLM tech specs. 2 7-inch drivers, that's good. The medium-sized drivers, 3.5, pardon me. And high frequency drivers, 2-inch. That's probably going to be capable just based on the driver sizes. It says it handles 340 watts. That's good. Maximum peak SPL at 1 meter is 106. Red flag. If you care about reference. So they got good size drivers, but it's not a particularly, they don't even have the sensitivity rating, but it's not particularly sensitive if it's only going to do 106 dB at 1 meter. Remember that at 10 feet, you drop about 10 dB. I mean, that's just like typical. It's not going to be exactly, but in that ballpark. So if you're dropping 10 dB to 10 feet, at that one, you're only going to be at like 95 dB, and reference calls for 105. So you're shortchanging yourself if you care about movie theater volumes.
Look at this shameless plug. You could try plugging in your specs into the SPL distance calculator on mwaveapps.com. Ryan.
That's if you're not familiar with that, do it. But it's close enough to 10 dB in a lot of rooms that I've measured with my Omni mic that I have that confidently in pocket.
Last question. Oh, here's Mark Wilson. He gave us some stuff on his room. And then we'll have one more question. Living room setup, 16-foot, 18-foot, 9-foot ceilings. MLP is 11 feet from the screen, maybe 9 feet from towers, 6 foot from surrounds, 12 feet, 7 to 7 feet from Atmos. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. It's not insignificant. Mark, I'm going to say send me an email because I want to go through some stuff with you, and I'll even guide you to stuff that I don't sell. I just want to make sure you get what makes sense for your space. And there's a lot of factors that need to be considered to make sure you get what's right. So
you want to pull up that M-Wave site that he's got and just show the
audience? Yes.
That Ryan link?
It's probably Ryan trying to get me to get a virus.
It wasn't until you like shouldered him off.
There you go. So this will eventually be integrated into M-Wave and Ascend AV, I believe.
I'm gonna close the chat so this gets larger. Go
But
ahead.
you've got a projector screen calculator, speaker wire calculation, and SPL seat.
Click that. Can you zoom it in to make it larger so the audience can see?
No.
It's pretty small.
So needy.
Beautiful thing. So
So
put
you
one of
can
those
do-
specs we saw in there. Put a 85 dB sensitive polk in there.
So that's
And then,
85.
And then 100 watts was correct.
100 watts.
And seating distance is 10 foot.
So max you're going to get out of that. Nothing else being considered, and this is without any room gain, which you will get depending on the dispersion of the speakers, depending on the room itself and how lively it is.
And you're
95
losing some to EQ though too when you have that. So 95 is like best case scenario.
Yes.
I think when you apply EQ, because remember, even Odyssey and a lot of the auto EQs will apply up to 90 dB EQ, and that robs your power real fast.
Yeah.
When you're talking that kind of stuff.
Yep. There you go.
And I don't even believe. Okay, let me rephrase that. That was the wrong way to phrase it. It says 95 dB. That polk won't do 95 dB. It says that it will, but that little tweeter that's on there, that little 1-inch soft dome that polk uses, is gonna fart out after about 85 or 90. It's gonna overheat at 85
look at
or 90
this.
dB.
See, for that speaker's sensitivity capabilities, it would take 930 watts.
And you're gonna light it on fire. With
Yeah,
1,000 watts of that thing.
It would no longer exist at those capabilities. So remember, that's anechoic. You're going to get better than that because your room's not going to be anechoic. But something to consider. Ryan, great job on this tool. I can thank myself because my name is also Ryan, but I am not the one that did this. Ryan Kramer did it. Huge shout out to him. Doing the man's work. Fantastic. Stop sharing. Now, last question. Super chat from Bobby Digital 4922 5 USD. Thank you very much. Never expected. Always appreciated. When you have time, could you please explain process of stacking projectors such as the Xgimi Titan Noir Max? Stacking increases brightness, but it is not a 100% increase. Usually the second projector adds closer to 50%, maybe 2/3. But the Xgimi, I think, is set up to allow for stacking, isn't it?
Undecided. I've asked multiple times. In fact,
undecided.
They don't officially support it, I think, is the bottom line.
Oh.
But there's theory crafting that it might work, and they've been kind of coy about answering directly.
I see. The reason behind it, Bobby, is increased brightness. If you didn't want to, if it was an exponential increase in spend in order to get a brighter projector, you could just get another projector that's the same and then align them. The problem with this is if the mounting system is not robust enough, any shake will knock them out of alignment. And if you try and do lens shift when doing this, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. It takes a while to line it up. So your process is you put them both on the screen at about the same area. You have to do them one at a time. You need to pixel align them so the pixel grids are good if they're LCD-based projectors or LCOS projectors so that your red, green, and blue panels overlay perfectly. You're going to get them up to the border of the frame. You're going to bring the other one blanket, put the other one on, make it be the exact same. You're going to bring up a pattern on both. Most of them have an internal test pattern, or you could use something from a test pattern JPEG or something. And then you're going to just zoom, focus, maneuver to the minutia level to try to get everything lined up. It'll take you probably 45 minutes, an hour to line it up. And that's why Ryan said you don't want to do a recall, memory recall or thing, because you'll lose that and have to readjust it. If bass happens, or if they have any kind of ability to walk or move through vibration, it's not going to work because it has to be really closely pixel lined. Part of the reason that people were sort of excited about the Xgimi projector or the DLPs that have these auto zoom and focus is they were thinking like, hey, if the camera could be set up to look at where the two are and automatically make that adjustment, that'd be awesome. Because some of the pro level stuff, like the commercial stuff, does that. But I don't think Genie right now has that built in. They've hinted about in the thread that they might make that something they would do, but I don't know, reading between the lines, if their lens manipulation motors are finite enough for that to do, like basically granular enough to make that happen. Because one of the complaints you read about in the reviews is that if you push like left on lens shift, it's like brr, and you push right and it's like brr, and it's like too much. Whereas JVC, Epson, Sony, the people that have been in the player longer, you hold right and it's like, and you hold right and it's like, and so you can do those real granular adjustments because the motor's gears are very fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now they could probably do some sort of keystone or digital adjustment, like digital imaging compressing, if the camera that makes that focus adjustment is good enough to recognize that. And that's like how the commercial stuff could do it too. So it's not off the table, but it's a little bit suspicious to me, if not telling. I'll use those words lightly because I don't know, but it's a little bit suspicious or telling to me that they haven't come out and said, yes, you can do it. Like, because why wouldn't they? People have been talking about it for like 2 months at this point. Can you double stack it? It's gone on for pages in that 660 page thread. I'm responsible for some of the posts. Like, why wouldn't you just take 2 out of your bench test and like stack them on and say, yeah, it's possible. Look at this. It's awesome. If you want to know more about the process, on my channel, there is an LS12000 double stacking, both live stream and a video, like 5-minute video that shows you how we did it and the results. And it was very positive. Like, yeah, it took about 45 minutes to set up, but that's really not that long. If you weren't changing your zoom and focus and you really locked them in good, it was fantastic. Because even though it's not quite twice as bright, it feels almost twice as bright, and the blacks don't perceptually increase to be like twice as bad. So it's like a win-win in that context. Like, it's, to put it in Xemi Titan or Max standards, that's about 4,000 or 5,000 lumens is what it is when it's calibrated. Advertised 7,000 doesn't do it. It's more like 4,000 or 5,000. But if you had 2 of them, now it's at 9,000 or 10,000, 8,000 or 10,000. And now you're getting up to like projectors that cost way more for that light output. Because when you start climbing that lumen scale, that's where the prices really start bundling up. So that's kind of the draw, right? Getting something that would normally cost an arm and a leg for cheap because you're double stacking them.
Well said. That's it. We've reached the end. Okay. Our movie is District 9. We're going to watch that. And hopefully we will stream next week, sometime. Jonathan will forget, or I'll forget.
Sorry, guys.
Gotta make it worthwhile.
The late start. Yep.
Terrible. But we'll wrap it up here. Nothing else. Okay. Well, enjoy work. This is Thursday. For anybody that's working on Friday, I go to my son's soccer tournament this weekend, so we'll be out of town. Yeah. See you guys next time. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the Home Theater journeys, and we will see you guys in the next episode.